Welcome everybody, I'm Sherlock Holmes. Thank you everybody for tuning in live, and thank you to everybody who is watching the replay. This is a special live stream. This is actually dedicated to all the viewers and subscribers and everybody who's been DMing me on Instagram ever since I did the live stream when I first worked out this little guy. This is like my Staggered machine. It's been allowing me to pump out staggered builds like I've never been able to before. So a little bit of context. I've tried every like method. I've struggled with a lot of the methods. I've done the two spool method, where you stack two identical gauges and pretty much double Clapton all the way down and then peel one off and throw that away. That is outrageously wasteful. So I moved on to trying to tie an RDA cap on there, and the button method, and using my finger to hold the spacing wire. I've tried all kinds of different methods to stagger, and inevitably they all led to a very difficult or very wasteful process. And then I found this thing. I made it, actually, and it has changed my life when it comes to staggered builds. So it's shaved off a ton of time from my overall build time, and it's just made things so much easier, cleaner, and consistent. And so when I did that video, that live stream with this in it, excuse me, I have a throat thing going on. I got flooded with messages on Facebook, DMs on Instagram, and some in the comments. I just had a ton of people get in touch with me and ask if I would make them for them, if I knew where you could get them, and there are no like pre-built ones. So what I did is I went and got all the things that I needed to make and packaged them up, and I'm going to be selling them on the website. And then the second question that I get most, that's probably actually the most asked question that I get other than aliens, are what kind of swivels should I get? And 90% of the time when guys ask me about aliens, it's because their swivels are jacking up on them, causing their cores to kind of mangle and flip in. So I also went and purchased a ton of the coils, or not the coils, nope. I purchased a ton of the swivels that I use, these swivels right here, and I will also be selling those on the website. So there you go, for everybody who's been asking and asking and asking. I finally did it. I'm sorry it took me so long. It's been difficult for me to find everything that I needed and package it and get everything up on the website, but it's there. So if you want to go check those out, www.sherlockholmes.com. It's actually on the screen here. The 10% off code will work on these new additions onto the website. And also, so I kind of want to cover, I did a couple variations on them because I've been using this heavier weighted one for anything I do with 36 gauge, but then I also made a lighter one. And the heavier one is 40 grams. The lighter one is 26 grams. And the lighter one works best for like 38 gauge, 40 gauge. I found that the heavier one with the higher gauges like 40 was too much weight and could potentially break the wire. So I made two different kinds. And so this is how they're packaged. This is how they'll come. And I'm calling it the Staggerer. And it's already pre-built inside. And they will come with 4 of the exact clips that I use to stabilize my core. So that's what you asked for, and that's what I'm giving you. And also the swivels, again, the best swivels that I've been able to find, and believe me, I went through a hell of a process, a hell of a time over 2 years trying to find the swivels that worked best for me. My last pair of swivels I ran them for almost a year and a half straight, and I build, like, I don't want professional, but I build and sell coils, so I'm constantly running those swivels, and it took about a year and a half for the first set to burn out. And then so I was like, oh, well, you know, maybe I'll try out something different that looked kind of fancy. And within a few days, they started jamming up on me and causing me problems. So I went back to the ones that I know and that I love. And so they are also on the website. I have 2 sizes there as well. I have the the larger size and the smaller size. and they're both large. One's like 1.75 inches. The other is one is 1 3/8 inches. The other is like 2 3/8 inches. So like there's the bigger one, like that guy, and then a little bit smaller. They're all excuse me. They're all the swivels that I highly recommend. So everybody can stop asking me. These are the ones. They're on my website, and they are at a pretty good price. And again, the 10% off coupon will work. Now, I wanted to show you guys again, and for anybody else who has come to me and asking me questions about stagger or has missed my other videos on staggering, I want to show you exactly how easy this will work. Again, it just kind of blew my mind. So I need a fresh build in my P-tree. So I was going to use 24 gauge as the cores, but I think I'm going to use 26. So I'm going to make, just because I won't fit like a quad core Staggerton in there or anything like that. So I'm just going to do a staggered fused Clapton and throw that in there. So yeah, I'm going to do with the 26 nichrome, and I'm going to start off by doing the spaced Clapton, which will become my cores. Then I will fuse it all together in the spaces with the same gauge. As like a regular Clapton, you want to attach one end to your swivel and the other end to your chuck. So with the 36 gauge, this is the simplest process that I've found. Alright. I'm going to cut a few inches off, probably, we'll say 5, for the sake of demonstration. Cut my old one off. So this is how simple it is. I just thread it through, let it drop. Up here I just pinch the two ends of the wire, and I twist them together. Then I just make sure everything's tight and twist if it's not. Alright, so that's not going anywhere, so I'm just going to kind of rest it up here. I'm going to grab my wrap wire again. Actually, you don't even have to hold that up there, but when you're going to actually start your space Clapton, you need to run your wrap wire, your Clapton wire, just through the hole and then into your chuck to get it started. And then I'm just going to drop it in place. I like to take the tied end and put it down at the bottom. Oh shit, I just pulled it off. This can actually be done either way. So you can start it first, which is how I had been doing it. But either way can work. I think actually this way might be a little bit easier. Same principle though, grab it and just twist them together. So this, if you can see, this is going to act as my spacing wire. And because of the weight, and I kind of just pinched the wire together as well, but because of the weight, it just naturally gets in the way as you're trying to Clapton that, creating that perfect space. And I hold the spool, I'm leading the Clapton wire at a 90-degree angle to the core, and it does the work for me. Just because you can, I wouldn't recommend like ripping through this. I always, with anything, the second I start getting cocky, I go faster than my ability or my attention will allow me to, and then I always screw it up. So my little tip there is just kind of take your time and do it right. It's better than having to do it twice. So I just clipped it off the swivel and out of the chuck. And I just want to make sure that I cut this evenly-ish. And you always want your wrap going the same way. So what I mean by that is, if this is wrapped clockwise and I flip this around so it's now wrapped counterclockwise, when I go to fuse that together, it's not going to lay right. So just make sure that you keep it the right direction. Now that I was flipping them around, I'm getting lost here. No, okay, I'm okay. If you do them one at a time, just keep them in the same direction. You should be okay. Always handle your space builds or anything like this very, very gently, because no matter how great of a job you did spacing them, they could be absolutely perfect, but then if you go yanking on them once you have them out of the drill, it's going to screw up your build regardless. And I found that's the real key to any kind of staggered build, especially when you get into framed or multi-core, anything like that. Even the fused Clapton, it's really about the preparation, and majority of it is this, the spacing of the Clapton, because if this isn't right, nothing else will be. When you're adding ribbon's the same way. When you prep ribbon wire, making sure it's all straight and parallel and has nice clean cuts. It's paramount. It really can make or break your build. So take your time during the prep and it should go pretty smooth for you. Now, because I cut this into 2 wires, I'm just taking a little piece of scrap wire and wrapping it around where I fed it through the swivel, because all I did was like feed it through and then bend it, put a little 180 in there and just kind of tied it together. So this won't go anywhere. I'm gonna pull my drill up. Again, this is where I want to be careful because I want these as tight and in line as possible, but I don't want to pull on them because I will ruin the spacing. Once I get them secure in the chuck, then I can kind of pull on the whole wire, not just the spacing. I'll show you what I mean though. Once I get it clamped down real tight, when I pull on this, I know I'm not just pulling on the actual spacing, I'm pulling on the whole thing. So I can sort of, if I mess with the drill a little bit, I can pull out a little bit. I can work with the tension. If one of them's a little tighter than the other, I can kind of skew the drill a little bit and it'll help me even out that slack. Now, the other part of these staggered builds, if you're doing just a staggered fuse Clapton, by all means use your regular drill. If you're using anything more than that, if you're adding multiple cores, if you're adding ribbon wire, anything other than the fuse Clapton, get yourself this hand drill. They're like $14 or $15 on Amazon, and of course you can get better ones, you can get cheaper ones, but I recommend this one because this is the only one I've experience with, so I know it works really well. It's kind of a cheap plastic, but it seems to be built fairly well. I mean, I've had it in my vise, like clamped down in my vise a few times, and I heard a little bit of cracking, but that's kind of to be expected when I'm clamping down on plastic. But for this, I'm going to use the drill. I want to just get this build done. Then I will come back and chat, see what's going on, and while I'm installing this on the Petrie. If I wasn't doing this live, to be honest, I would probably be doing this with the hand drill just to guarantee my success. With this drill, I can't control the speed at all. It just fluctuates a ton and it's really unreliable, so I'm going to do the best I can with this. This coil isn't going to be for sale or anything, so it's for personal use, so I'm not worried if there's minor errors in it. I'm not using much tension on the spool, just enough to make sure that it squeezes in between those spaces. And I'm using the same angle that I did as I spaced it, 90 degrees or maybe just a hair toward the swivel. There's a feel aspect to this. If you're leaning forward or backward, you're going to feel your wire like kind of landing on top of the actual spaced wrap, not the spaces themselves, and sometimes you'll hear it or feel it kind of click into place. If that's the case, I recommend like pausing and seeing where you're at and adjusting your angle accordingly. If you're looking at your cores and you see that the spacing between the two is really uneven. Like if one's really cramped up and really, really little spacing and the other one is normal spacing, you can try to fight it and use tension to get your fuse wire to like snap in between those spaces, but it might just be worth it for you to scrap it and start over, because if that spacing isn't even, it's going to be a bitch to build and it's not going to look really clean when you get done with it. Now, if you wrapped, depending on how you spaced your Clapton, your claptons, if you did it really tight with a lot of tension, and your spacing Clapton is really tight on there and not moving at all, then there's two schools of thought. That's another question I get asked a lot: is should I loosen it up after I space Clapton it, or should I leave it really tight? And that's kind of a preference thing. If you like it really tight and you have the precision and the skill level to do it like that, by all means go for it. I like it that way too sometimes, because then that almost guarantees that if you nail the build, it's going to look really, really clean when you finally wrap it into a coil. If you do it really loose, a few things can happen, and they normally do, is towards the end of your rod, your finished product here, the spaces end up sort of getting pushed down, so the spacing at the swivel end is always a little off. Like, it just, I don't know, for some reason it always happens. That, and if you have a loose Clapton and it doesn't get tightened down when you fuse it all together, when you're spinning it into a coil, it can sometimes put spacing in between the fuse and the spacing, if that makes sense. Then you have a coil that doesn't look tight and clean, and that kind of looks shitty. So just play around with it in the beginning, figure out what works best for you, and then go from there. Alright, let me take this off, take a look at it. Fucking love it. They're not as pretty as aliens. They're definitely unique looking, but as far as flavor goes, I think they're up there with aliens. Staggered builds. I love them. Alright, I'm going to put this on you. Let's see here. I wish they would standardize the screws, the post screws, or the grub nuts, or whatever it is that they put in whatever device. Because I do this every time. I've got to go digging and searching for the correct Allen wrench thing. Like, what's wrong with just using all flatheads or all? I guess people have preferences between them. I personally like flatheads. That's not gonna work. That one's not gonna work. If this one's not it, guys, this video might be a little bit shorter than I thought it was gonna be. Can't even get the damn thing out of here. There we go. Oh, this isn't it either, is it? Goddamn dot mod using the tiniest little fucking grub nuts. Oh. I put it back in the box. How about that? We'll get there someday, guys. There we go. All right. I'm just not a fan of these little grub screws because I strip them out so quickly. My heart just dropped. I thought for a second there that I forgot to turn on the microphone again, like I do in every other live stream that I do. And I thought that this whole time I didn't have my microphone on. Will I fit these on a 3.5? What did I do with my... I just had it in my hand. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, it's a fairly large deck. So I made this with 26 gauge nichrome and 36 gauge nichrome. So I'm going to do 6 wraps on a 3.5 millimeter bit. And that should bring me, I'm hoping, 3 and a 6, 5, 3, 5, 6 wrap. It should be around 0.15. I'm taking a educated guess here. The larger diameter your coil is going to be, the more wire that you're going to need to make or to have the successful build at the end. When you're adding diameter or you're adding wraps, what you're doing is adding resistance. So you're adding the overall length that the electricity has to travel from point A to point B. The longer it has to travel, the higher the resistance. There's 6 right there. Phew! I just made that. Now granted, this 26 on a 3.5 is really springy. So I kind of have to work it out. Now I could use a blowtorch to stiffen this wire, but I want to be able to try to put some color on this. Well, maybe not, but I don't feel like getting out my blowtorch either. Alright, postless deck, so I don't need big leads. Alright. Yeah, I think they're gonna fit. Yeah, they'll absolutely fit. So here's where the guessing game starts with a postless deck. Is trying to figure out how the hell much do I need to cut off these leads. That one looks about right. So what I do is when I figure out one, I stick them back to back and you know, try to gauge it accordingly like that. I have juice all over my fingers, which is making this process much more difficult. Okay. Oh, see, that looks a little high too. Let's try it again. I'm gonna be so pissed if I cut too much off and don't have a build to I mean, I've got coils laying around, but still, it kind of defeats the whole point of what we did here tonight. That looks better. Again, guys, thank you so much for stopping in and watching and hanging out as we build this coil. Where's the fucking Allen key? There it is. See, I stripped that one too. God damn it. Like, it's great they throw in another pair or extras, but then what do you do when you strip those? Hope to God that another device that you have has the same screws. Like, see, that one's stripped also. I guess I'm tightening my leads down too tight. I mean, is it just me? Am I the only one who has this issue with like every fucking device? All right, here we go. All right, we fit. Just barely, man. We are skin of our teeth on that one. I'm going to set them back just a little bit over the airflow to try to get away from that top. Alright, I actually have all my batteries and stuff upstairs, so I'm going to put you on hold real quick and come right back and we'll fire these things. Mic on. Beautiful. Whew. Okay, so batteries in, good to go. Alright, I need to vape. Let's see. Let me catch up on some comments and we'll get going. What's going on, guys? I see some new names. I see some familiar names. What's going on? Danny, Chevy, Slaughter's here. Sick Hitman, Randy. You're welcome, my man. Yeah, alright. We got Todd, Songer, Juan, what's up, brother? Johnny, Jared, Scuba, Chance, what's up, buddy? Bennett, Six Nick, woo! Chance is a badass. Gregory Fitzgerald Phillips, how are you, sir? I feel like I need to call you sir because of how regal your name is. I love it. We had Vegas Chef. I don't know if he's still here, but thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for everybody who's sticking with us and watching the replay. Again, before I get into the rest of it, Swivels and the Staggerer available on the website for 10% off right now. That's SherlockHolmes.com. And the Staggerers also come with the same clips that I use to stabilize my cores when I'm doing any kind of frame staple, large frame staple builds, or the quad core staggerton or anything like that. So you get the Staggerer that is, honest to God, the best method that I've found for doing spacing claptons, for doing staggered builds. You get the clips, and then for the swivel sets, they come in packs of 3. The large size come in this little baggaroo there, and then the little bit smaller size, not by much, come in the jar. Both are the same, just one is a little bit bigger, one is a little bit smaller. And again, with the Staggerer, I have 2 sizes, one for 36 gauge and lower, so like 32 to 36, and then for 38 and above, so 38 to 40 whatever. I have a little bit lighter one that will not put as much stress on your wire. So check those out. If you like them, cool. If not, that's fine also. But they are available because you guys have been asking for them. So enough of that. Let's get right into it. Oh, I do want to say thank you to my patrons. You guys are awesome. If you're watching, which I'm sure you are because you guys always are supporting me, we are working on that giveaway package that'll have the mod cleaner, the Staggerer, the swivels. I'm going to be doing a special. I was going to so with the wallpaper, the 5K wallpaper. I'm going to be taking brand new pictures. I've been doing some shots that I haven't released yet. So I'm going to turn those into the wallpaper package. And so I'll let you guys know when I get there with that. But if you're interested, guys, let me know on the Patreon site, and I can give you some stuff that I have now in the meantime, if that's something you guys are interested in. Also for the silver Watsons, and I might do something for the bronze Watsons as well. I have some juice that I'm going to be giving away. If you guys want to pay for shipping, you guys, we can talk about that over there as well. All right, all that's handled. If you haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new here. And if you're not new here, hit that thumbs up button if you like what you see. Now we're done with that. Let's get back to building. Have my ceramic guys here. Let me vape. Let's slow down here. Slow down, Sherlock. So I'm mixing juices right now. Let me take a break here. I'm feeling overwhelmed. So this is something I got at the comp I was at. It was a giveaway kind of thing. Excision line base infused e-liquid. This is like a banana cream, I think. I also received a strawberry cream, and that was one of the most interesting strawberry creams that I have ever tasted. It was way more creamy than it was strawberry, as far as anything else I've ever tasted. And then this guy is a strawberry. No, it's not. It is not at all strawberry. It is crunchberry pound cake. And so I've been going back and forth on the banana and the pound cake, and it's been really, really nice together. It's kind of like chopping up bananas and putting it in your cereal and stuffing cake in your face, I guess. It's not at all what it's like, but it's delicious. So I'm really, really enjoying it. The pound cake is in this. These like massive chubby Gorilla bottles are just too obnoxious for me. And every time I drip them, I put the bottle back down on the table or counter or whatever, and it always lost you. Okay, I think we're back. My screen is making noises and yelling at me. Offline. Yeah, I see that. Alright. Stream is resumed. Stream is continuing. Stream health. Fucking crippled is what it is. Back online. One of these days we're going to get through a live stream without me going on for 15 minutes with a muted mic, without any technical difficulties, with everything working the way it should, with the build working, and nothing going wrong. That will happen at some point, I hope. Alright, everybody can see me, hear me. Yeah, I wish I could blame it on YouTube, but 95% of the time it's my fault. I forget to press the button, unmute the mic, or whatever. But such is life, my friend. Alright, where were we? I was probably rambling, and it probably cut out at some point, so I don't think we missed much. Let's see how this is going to do. I have my ceramic tweezers. I'm not going to start at 100 watts. Right now, as it sits, it's reading 0.22 ohms. Now that is not going to stay that way, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's going to go up a little bit. Alright, I'm going to start here at 50 watts. I just introduce a little bit of heat and then pinch them together, and I repeat that process. And then if I have any severe hot spots, I push up from the inside wherever the hot spots are and separate the coils. A hot spot is the metal fusing together, so you can even just grab onto one side lightly and kind of just pull to put space in between them and continue on going. Continue going on. Continue on going. I didn't get much sleep last night, guys. We're just winging it here. Snap, crackle, pop. You hear that? Now, these didn't get a bath after I finished making them, and the reason for that is because we're doing this live and I don't want to wait 3 minutes with the ultrasonic cleaner buzzing like crazy. So I highly recommend when you finish building, always clean your coils. You don't know, you know, your wire could be filthy. Just clean your coils. Whatever way you, if you just use Dawn and a toothbrush, or at the very least run them under water and just kind of clean them up, you know. But for the sake of this video and time, I just pulsed them, heated them up, and then I just rinsed them. But do as I say, not as I do. Alright, after I pulse my coils and get them where I need them, I always double check that my post screws are tight. If you're getting like vicious hot spots at your leads, it's probably because, like, at the contact point of the post, like where your leads meet your posts, it's probably because you have a screw loose. So just always make sure that they're really nice and tight. Alright, so our final resistance after you know, getting the metal worked in, we're at 0.28, which is way higher than I anticipated, but that's okay for the device and for what I'm shooting for. And I need cotton. As with most RTAs, the Petri is all about the wicking. Wicking it correctly will either ensure a beautiful vaping experience, or if you don't, it's going to leak all over the fucking place. Now, because I used a 3.5 millimeter bit, I'm going to need a little bit more cotton than I would use if I used a 3 millimeter. What that means is, because I need more cotton to fill the inside of the coil, there's going to be more cotton on each side. Now with the Petri, it's a single wick hole on each side, so the cotton from both ends shares each one of those holes. So I'm going to have more cotton than I need. Now you can do that silly brush out your cotton until whatever. I don't know what that does, but I just kind of snip off as much as I need to snip And I snip it from the, or I'll show you how I do it in this instance. So when I gauge how much cotton I need, you know, after doing it for so long, I just kind of use my eye and how it feels in my hands. But a good rule of thumb when you're trying to feed it through, you don't want it so tight that you can barely get it through and it's moving your coils. Like, that's way too much cotton. You just want to be able to feel the resistance just a little bit, or even a little bit more than that, but you don't want it so tight that you can't get it through, because if you can't get the cotton through, the liquid's going to have a hard time getting in there. You're compressing what's in there if it's too tight. You're compressing the cotton that's in there. And you don't want it really compressed because it's going to be harder for the liquid to wick up inside there. So as far as, I'm going to show you, let me cut it to where I think I need it. Alright. Let me get my pointer here. So right here, this is difficult to do. Right there, you see it? That's the air, or that's the wick hole. Right there. Right there. So each one of these needs to share that wick hole. What that means is that I need equal amount from both coil into the same wick hole. I grab my itty bitty screwdriver. I'm going to start at one end, and I'll start with the coil from the cotton from one coil first, and I'll stick it in and see how much space it takes up. And then from there, I can decide if I need to take some off of each side, or if I'm okay. I'm actually really, really close to where I need to be, so I'm just going to take a little bit off of one. Yeah, that's actually like perfect. Sometimes you just nail it. Other times you don't. Some people, especially, you know, people who are newer into vaping and they're using sub-ohm tanks, it can be intimidating to go to a rebuildable deck on RTA, because it's difficult. It can be really difficult trying to wick them correctly, and if you don't, they leak everywhere, or it's flooding real bad. It can be a nightmare. So if you're one of those people and you're intimidated by it, just practice. Use don't fill your tank all the way if you're learning. Just fill it enough, saturate your cotton enough that you're going to be able to know if it's going to leak or not. And use, if you're leaking real bad, use a little bit more cotton. If you're getting dry hits, that means that the liquid's not getting to the coils well enough or fast enough, so you're going to need a little bit less cotton. So just work on it. You know, take some, give some, take some away, and you'll eventually find that sweet spot. And every RTA is different. So you're going to have to, it's like a learning curve with every different device. So just hang in there, keep working with it. You'll eventually get where you need to go. I just paint on some juice and then give the coils a little bit of power, and it thins out the liquid and allows the cotton to saturate quicker and easier. Once I get a good amount saturated, I'll put a little bit in the wick holes just to get that going, and I'm already dripping all over the place. From here, I'm going to throw the chimney on. Well, before I throw the chimney on, you can, you know, give it some juice and make sure everything's working the right way. This is still down around 45 watts, so it's not going to be real explosive like that. Pop the tank on. I'm going to fill it up. Now, priming your coils like I just did before you fill your actual tank is going to cut down the break-in time. The longer you let it sit, the less likely you are that you're going to have that cotton taste when you first hit it. I normally don't have issues with that because I let it sit. I mean, even if you do, it goes away in a few hits, I guess. Wipe her up. That's pretty, isn't it? I love this damn thing. Oh man, I'm leaking everywhere. I over dripped the hell out of this when I was priming it. Let me catch up on some comments. Ow. All right. Oh, Slaughter, thanks so much for dropping those links. Peter Silva, what's up, buddy? Gentlemen, I use 25Rs across the board. I have a couple 1500s, some LG 1500s that I will run in my mechs when I want some a little bit of a harder hit, but 25Rs are well suited. Samsung 25Rs are well suited, in my opinion, for almost any application. If you're just a standard, vapor, you're not going out and competing, and you just want some decent battery life with a really good track record of safety, I like the 25R. And if you ever question of battery safety or anything batteries, look up Battery Mooch, Mooch, on Facebook. He is like the go-to guy for battery. He does, I think he has a background in like electrical engineering or something. He does something that more than qualifies him to do the testing and give the advice that he does. But as a community, we rely on him for his information in that department. Also, I want to talk a little bit about some advocacy stuff. I'm going to be posting, for anybody watching the replay who's made it this far, I'm going to post a link in the description, and for you guys here in the live chat, I'm going to be posting a link. Just give me a second, I need to look this up. I meant to bring this up in my last live stream. I'm hoping we didn't miss it. I haven't checked on it since I pushed it last time. Nope, we're good. Okay. I'm going to post this link here. This is a form. It's all about the San Francisco flavor ban. The city council is stripping flavor from e-liquid, They've already passed one vote. It's going to an emergency vote, and I believe that vote's going to be coming this coming week after the holiday weekend. So why this matters to anybody who does not live in San Francisco, the reason is because it will set a very, very dangerous precedent. Oh, look, well, San Francisco did it, so we can do it too. It could very well start a domino effect that just ripples through the whole country. Could happen overseas. I mean, some like it could end up affecting everybody. There are negative ramifications that will ripple through the industry. So what we need from you is to go to this link. All you need to do, name, email address, zip code, and there is a pre-filled out email, and you can either add your personal touch or not. That's fine too. It takes 30 seconds to input your information and press send, and it sends an email to the council members and the mayor. And you can also, there's a button there as well for you to tweet them with the pre-written template, and it shoots them. You have to just give authorization through your Twitter, but it's just a great way to actually participate in the fight to save vaping. So please, if you've made it this far, you're watching and you haven't done it already, I expect you to do it, because it takes 30 seconds and it's something very small that you can do that could help make a very big impact. Now that I've been polishing this thing for 40 minutes straight, I have the cleanest Petri in the world. I filled it with the wrong juice, so I actually want to fill it with something else. Am I going to be able to get this lid off? Got it. Or is that my tooth that just broke? Oh no, it was the bottle. Okay, good. Oh, don't you do that. Alright, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna keep what we have. Let me put the adjustment ring on. I tell you what, this Petri, you'd think I'm getting paid to say it, but I fucking love this thing. The flavor, I've been vaping this Pound Town for days now, and I've been ripping it out of the Ruby with some aliens, like flavor, right? Flavor. The second I put this juice in here, I just right off the bat, I'm tasting things that I haven't tasted in this juice before. Like, all the notes are so much crisper and more pronounced. It's unbelievable. Country living in the house. What up, country? Alright, guys. I've got to be up in 6 hours. So, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. You know, relative to our other live streams that we do here, this one is on the shorter end, right? I don't even know where we're at. Oh, we're still at over an hour. All right. Again, the whole point of this was, you guys have been asking, and so I have listened, and I'm fulfilling my promise. The exact swivels that I use and now what I call the staggerer are available on the website. They're pretty cheap too, and it's not gonna kill you. But they're on the website, and the 10% off code is valid on the swivels and the staggerer, as well as all the other coils. I've been dropping some prices on the website as well. The banks are coming down on me because Big Tobacco and Big Pharma are coming down on them. So the website might be down for a short amount of time. I don't know, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. Thank you again to my patrons. I will be in touch with you guys over on Patreon about the giveaways and stuff. Thank you everyone so much for watching this. Thank you for being the best community on YouTube. Definitely go check out Gentleman's E-Liquid. He's in the chat. His channel is dedicated to mixing. And as always, check out Country Livin's channel. We are trying to get him 500 subscribers by the 12th of July, which is his birthday. But he set that goal for himself, and I believe in him and his content. He's a great dude. So if you like what you see over there, hit that subscribe button. But thanks so much, everybody, for joining for this this shit show of a live stream, as always. But no, this one actually, I mean, other than the technical difficulties, I think we did good this time, guys. But all right, so another thing, real quick before we get going, baby is due any day now. So if there's a long absence without me, that would be why. But yeah, so that's everything. Definitely check out Country, check out Gentleman's E-Liquid, and check out the new stuff on the website. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm Sherlock Holmes, and I'll see you in the next one.